All right. I want to talk about football today.
I think we can do that this time. This
I
week we can.
yeah.
I
I
was
also
Yeah. Just kidding. Go ahead.
what did you want to talk about?
Underwater basket weaving. I thought that would be a good topic today, but I guess since it's still football season, we can talk about that.
Yeah, that's off-season stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe in a few months, Austin. I want to talk about playoff pictures. Kind of where we're at now, what the hypotheticals are. We're getting close. Getting close. And last night, for example, Rams Cardinals was a big game. Lots of playoff.
Yep.
Lots of playoff implications last night's game. And it's obviously its outcome. So I got it up here right now. Right now, number 1 seed in the AFC is the Patriots.
I can't believe it. How did it come to this? How did we let this happen?
Number 1 seed in the NFC as of last night, post game, is the Packers.
Yes.
And that's just, they're 10-3, and so are the Cardinals, but because the Cardinals have a worse record against their division, the Packers have first place.
Right.
One thing, I think this is one thing that's really interesting to me, is the fact that the Bills are in a decline. They've dropped all the way down to the 7th seed. Pretty crazy. But the Titans, they've been without Derrick Henry for 3 weeks now? And there's
longer. Yeah.
Is it longer? Is it 4?
3 weeks sounds short, but that could be.
It's been quite a while, but they're holding on to that number 2 seed. They're holding on.
They're holding on.
I don't think they will be at the end of the season, but as of now, I'm impressed.
I mean, they might make it just by virtue of the wins they had already accumulated and just skate on by till the end. But, if you want to say they're still playing good football, well, you got to realize that they just beat the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So, they're not. And before that, I think they're on bye. And then the week before that, they lost to the Patriots. So, which is not, a huge, it's not an awful thing to lose to one of the best teams. They lost before that, though, to the Texans. They lost to the Texans. One of the 2 wins Houston has. So I'm still, while we're on the topic of the Titans, of the belief that they're a candidate to fall out, definitely, of the division, because I think the Colts are storming up and they are going to take it. But maybe of the entire playoff picture, the Titans might not be in it.
See, what do they have left? They've got Steelers, 49ers, Dolphins, and Texans.
I mean, most of those teams aren't easy. I mean, but winnable. The Steelers.
I think the Steelers is winnable. The Steelers have been just so back and forth this season.
You never know what the heck you're getting.
I mean, yeah, talking about this last Thursday game, sheesh, what a tale of 2 halves. And it's hard to tell if that's the Steelers or the Vikings, because it kind of fits both molds, where the Vikings love to blow second half leads and the Steelers are inconsistent. But that game was really about almost as over and done as you could possibly imagine going into the 4th quarter. And they just all of a sudden made it close, really close.
And then Chase Claypool.
Yeah.
I don't think they win, even if they had those extras. Well, I don't
They
know.
get
It's hard.
who knows? Because they get one extra play.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to tell in situations like that because they would get one extra play, and if it was a good play, that could have been the game. You know what I mean?
The play they did run was this close to
Yeah.
being caught by Pat Fryermuth for a touchdown. They did need the 2-point after that as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they need that too. So it was a long shot, but
they had all the momentum. So watching it's hard. I would have thought they would have gotten it because everything was going their way.
Oh gosh, everything was going their way.
Ben Roethlisberger, he sucks, but he still has got a clutch gene. Like Ben Roethlisberger's always been clutch. So if you can't say anything else about him, he's been clutch, and that was a clutch throw. It was just a really clutch defensive play to knock by Harrison Smith to knock the ball out because it was caught. It was right in between 3 defenders, right into his hands. Like, beautiful throw, most perfect throw he could have made. I was like, geez Louise, man, that was. He's still got it a little bit. Still got it a little bit. 2 fourth quarters and hot.
He might be able to go out not limping. You know, he can kind of go out with some dignity left if he plays some games like that, like the fourth quarter.
What do you guys? So they play the Steelers, going back to kind of the Titans and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess we can kind of move on from there, but they play the 49ers next. And yeah, the Seahawks of all teams just beat the 49ers in a pretty good game. But this last week, 49ers rocked it. So I want to know what you guys think about the 49ers. Let's see, because right now I think they're in the hunt. The NFC.
They're the 6th seed right now.
Oh yeah, they are. That's right.
The season were to end today.
49ers are a really interesting team, and they're kind of. It's funny because they got Kyle Shanahan, who's offensive mastermind, kind of was like the Sean McVay before the Sean McVay, where like he was the offensive guru of the league. But they play a really interesting ground and pound, tough brand of football. I mean, they want to run the ball 40 times a game, and they have a week or two this year. And they got Garoppolo still, who's not a game winner under center, but a game manager sometimes. Pretty decent at that, I'd say. And a tough defense. I don't know what to make of them, to be honest. They're not really in contention, in my opinion, at least, to win the division, take it from the Cardinals or the Rams. But
they can definitely get in with a wild card. Because here's the thing. The further and further we go at this point, their defense is going to look better and better. Just because, like you said, they're just this tough. We're just gonna like make you hurt and make you suffer. You know, deep into December and January, that's exactly what you want, which gives their offense, which, like you said, like Jimmy definitely isn't the strong point, but Deebo Samuel has been incredible this year. Jeffrey Wilson's pretty good too.
Well, and then Elijah Mitchell, their rookie running back. Everyone's talking about,
oh my gosh,
you know, the likes of Najee Harris and Javonte Williams, but Elijah Mitchell's had one of the more productive years as a runner, and when he's healthy, they love to get him involved.
And then here's another thing is, you know, I don't think it makes as much of a difference later into the year, but, you know, a strong running game helps, and a good tight end helps too. And, of course, they have George Kittle, who's the guy that, you know, he's durable. I mean, this last week, 13 receptions, 151 yards, 1 touchdown. Man.
Yeah.
I wish the Seahawks had a good.
And that's to beat the Bengals this past week, which, you know, not to jump too much unless we want to, but the Bengals are out of the playoff picture as of right now. They're on the bubble in the AFC, which was wild because they were the number 1 seed for a number of weeks earlier, maybe a month and a half ago. But they've lost some rough games, and I don't know. Do you guys see the Bengals getting back in this?
I No. Well, yes. Well, Lamar Jackson
Mm.
went down, and I haven't seen the status of his injury, but it's like it was potential season ending. But I haven't seen if like he's going to come back or not. But that could be the deciding factor for the Ravens, and that just
Yeah.
leaves an opportunity for the Browns and the Bengals to take their spot.
The update
Depending on
I've
Lamar
seen
Jackson's health.
on Lamar Jackson is he sprained his ankle. There was some concern it'd be high ankle sprain, which could shut him down to the playoffs or through, but it was just a low ankle sprain, and he might even be starting this week.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if he can play, at least 80% with that low ankle sprain, then they should be okay. But if he struggles, at that point, teams are going to force him to pass, and who knows? We haven't seen Lamar like not have running as an option when he's a quarterback. So
Yeah.
we'll see how he can do if he has to just always be sitting there in the pocket playing. I don't think that would ever be the game plan, even if he's hurt. But
I will say,
off that fact, Bengals could make it still.
I will say, Lamar's backup, Tyler Huntley, he looks like Lamar.
Oh, yeah, he played like
He looks like him. He plays like him. He performed. Dude, for a kid to come off the bench partway into a game, come out with 270 yards, touchdown, pretty incredible. And he had some. I mean, he looked like Lamar. Did you see those scrambles out of the pocket? A couple like 15, 20-yard runs. I mean, clearly, that's one game. Lamar's probably the better quarterback, but and like you said, he's probably coming back. But I just wanted to point out that was a really good game by a kid coming up.
Now, what if I told you guys that this week I can pretty much guarantee the Ravens are going to take an L at the hands of the Packers, and the Bengals are 100% going to get a dub over my Broncos? What would you think about that?
Wait. Why do you think they're 100% going to get a win over your Broncos?
Because it's the Broncos. What do you mean, dude? Let me explain.
Are you sure you're a Broncos fan, Parker?
Oh, I am. See, a real Broncos fan calls them out for their BS and makes them get better. Look, right now we're on the bubble. The Broncos are, and this is a game against a team that is in that. This is the exact kind of game we drop. Exact kind of game we lose. So I think the Bengals are going to get a win. I think the Ravens are going to get a loss this week.
That puts them at a tie. They'd both be 6, but they would win. No, they would still if they're both 8-6.
Cincinnati should jump them because they have the head-to-head, and I'm sure they got a similar division record.
I'm trying to find the division.
Surprised if they didn't.
Yeah, Bengals actually are 3-1 in the division. The Ravens are 1-3.
Yeah.
So
Cincinnati would definitely jump them.
Yeah.
I guess it comes down to who do the Browns play this week?
Take a look. They play
the Raiders. So that's an interesting one. I mean, the Raiders coming off a huge loss. Do they learn, bounce back, and win this, or do you think they lose to the Browns?
I agree with Austin's shaking his head.
They'll lose to the Browns.
Do you guys think the official downfall of the Raiders has begun and it's going to be a dumpster fire the rest of
Well, the calendar has struck December, so yes.
I mean, they're gonna scrap and claw, and they're not gonna lose out or anything, but they're gonna fall short of glory, and they're not making the playoffs. And I do think this is a game the Browns are poised to win.
They might lose out this.
The Raiders are also one of the worst teams defensively against running backs, and we know exactly what Cleveland likes to do. So,
because if they lose to the Browns, they've got your Broncos next, which I think Broncos could win that.
that one is one that the Broncos could win.
And then it's Colts Chargers, where I think they're worse than both of those teams. I mean, you got Jonathan Taylor, and then you just have the Chargers. They could lose out.
Yeah,
they could. Their best chances.
That's a rough ending.
Are this week in Denver. Their best chances to get some wins.
Speaking of the Chargers, though, Justin Herbert's a good quarterback, man.
Yeah,
he's a good quarterback. He's got like multiple NFL records right now. Like already, like I think one of them was like he's the first quarterback ever in NFL history to have his first 2 seasons be 30+ touchdown seasons.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and maybe you guys can call me crazy for making this comparison. And obviously they've had a different start, but I feel like he doesn't have the finesse of Patrick Mahomes. But he gets the results that Patrick Mahomes got his first couple of years. You know what I mean?
I don't think you're crazy for seeing the comparison. They're both gunslingers in whatever sense of the word that takes in today's NFL landscape. And and you see it when they play each other too. Like they're two that can duel it out as quarterbacks in the offense. And yeah, when the Chargers are hot, they're hot. They can get cold sometimes, and we've seen that happen. But no doubt in anyone's mind by now that Justin Herbert's the real deal. He's good, man. He's really good.
Dude,
huge game this Thursday between Chiefs for the AFC West first place. Huge in LA.
If the Chargers sweep the Chiefs this year in the division, that will be momentum. I don't know, just like they'll have to move the division status whatever you want to call it. Like the Chiefs have held it. Everyone in our division has been getting whooped by the Chiefs so routinely for the past half a decade.
Yeah,
that'll just be a really big deal if the Chargers get 2 wins in the season.
Yeah, sweep them. Yeah, that would be
a big deal.
Yeah, but it doesn't guarantee that they retain the spot.
No.
But I mean, it's a huge like win mentally for going the season. Being like to like not be afraid of the Chiefs, like it's just the Chiefs. Like once you sweep them like that, you're like, oh, we're just playing the Chiefs. So it's gonna be, they're both coming off of a game where they dominated against a very much inferior opponent. So it'll be interesting because how that on a short week, what this game looks like. Because they're both offenses can be sloppy at times. Both defenses are very good. So it'll be interesting.
Do you think the Chargers are in the Super Bowl bubble right now? And if not, why not?
I'm gonna say no. Because for the simple reason that no one in that organization has experience in the postseason. No one on their team, their quarterback certainly doesn't, their coach doesn't. Once they get to the playoffs, like they say, the playoffs is a reset. Like the season's over, you're in the playoffs now, and it's completely different feel, different vibe. So,
but I mean, as of right now, they would play against the Ravens, which, well, actually, that'd probably be a pretty close game. I mean, Lamar's healthy.
Yeah, the Ravens spanked them when they played the regular season.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see if that trend continues. I don't know if the Ravens will still be in that. It's possible they can still be in that spot. I think.
Yeah,
We have to know what the standings are at the end.
That's the thing.
This could all change.
I don't think they will. I don't think the Chargers hold their 5th seed and the Ravens hold the 4th seed by the end of the season. Probably won't.
The only thing I can say confidently is that things will not look the way they look right now when things are said and done.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of
Absolutely.
change up.
There will be. Yeah, this will all be the AFC. The AFC, the conference is just so competitive with just everyone not great or not fantastic, but everyone's great. Just like right in that, just insane. Like so many good teams just beating each other.
Well, there's 6 teams right now that are not in the playoffs right now, but are in the bubble, competing within 1 or 2 games.
Right. I mean, you just see it just by looking at it. Like, you got 3 teams in the NFC that have 10 wins. Not a single team in the AFC does.
Yeah.
And then currently occupying the 7th seed in the NFC is Washington, and they have a losing record. Meanwhile, there's three teams on the bubble in the AFC that are 7-6. So just the difference of parity on one side and just more dominant teams in the NFC. It's just a real different landscape.
Well, honestly, so I'm looking at the NFC standings right now, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 teams in the NFC. Right? Yeah, there's 6 teams in the NFC that are not in the playoffs right now that are within a couple of games, 1 or 2 games of being in the playoff bubble as well. So it's actually, I think the AFC is still a little more competitive, but the NFC is actually like right behind them. I mean, you've got Minnesota, Philadelphia, Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina, and Seattle that are all within either tie the record of Washington or 1 game less than Washington as far as wins to loss, which is in the 7th seed right now. And kind of the same thing, the 49ers are 7-6, only 1 game. Above that, I mean, LA Rams and above, LA Rams, Dallas, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, those guys are up there. There are 2 wild card spots that could belong to any one of 8 teams.
I'll say, if I had to give predictions, I think the 49ers are going to stake their claim with that wild card spot. I expect them to get more wins. So I think it's really going to be the entire rest of the conference fighting for that one wild card spot that's currently held by Washington.
Yeah.
I think that's the only one, in my opinion, that when you look at the teams here, we're talking about the Vikings, Eagles, Falcons, Saints, and then beneath them, Panthers, Seahawks. And none of these, there's no one who's not in it right now that you're like, oh, they're going to definitely get in. I would say, I personally think the Vikings are the most likely to work their way into it just because of how good they're capable of playing. But I think, like I said, it's going to be that one wild card. I literally think that's the only spot that's going to have any change up by the end of the year is the 7th seed in the NFC. And there might be some difference in ordering with the seeds above, but no teams coming out.
Okay, let me ask you this. And this is me being a hopeful Seahawks fan. Okay. Let me list off the teams. So we've got Washington, 7th seed right now. Okay. Then we've got Minnesota 8, Philadelphia 9, Atlanta 10, New Orleans 11, Carolina 12, Seattle 13. Okay, I'm going to be honest. The Seahawks, the last 2 weeks, have looked a lot more like the Seahawks. Okay? Russell's healthy. He's playing like Russell. Defense is stepping up. There's still some stuff to work on. Offense is sketchy, but when we've got a running back that's actually producing a little bit, like, Penny this week killed it. All I'm saying is, for that 7th seed spot, I really feel like it could be between Seattle, Minnesota, and Washington. But I think Seattle, Minnesota, and Washington are better.
Right.
I think they're better than the Eagles, the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers. I'm just saying.
The Vikings, Seahawks, and who's the other team?
Washington.
Washington? Yeah. Well, here's the deal with your Seahawks. I just looked at your remaining schedule.
I know.
And you're either playing dominant division competitor. You still have to play the Rams again this week, and you play the Cardinals week 18. Oh, freak! But here's the deal: the Cardinals might be resting their players that last week, and then you get to play the Bears and the Lions.
Yep.
In those weeks.
So I think we beat Bears and Lions. And if Cardinals are resting, we could beat Cardinals. The Rams is the one where it's like, but here's the thing. Last time we played,
Cardinals might not rest their players if it means keeping the Seahawks out of the playoffs.
For sure.
They actually might not.
There's no guarantee that they'd rest because
they would have to have the 1 seed locked up for that to even happen, which is not looking very likely to lose, actually.
A couple games, and
Here's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is the one time that the Seahawks did play the Rams this year, Russell went out, and they still kept it within a field goal.
Yeah.
So they played them well. And
you guys are trending up. You guys are. I actually do think you have a chance at that 7th seed. Now you guys just beat the Texans, all right? I was
about to say that too.
Calm down a little bit, but no, you're right. I watched a lot of that Seahawks game, and Russell, you can tell, like I've always said, it was just the freaking finger. Everyone calm the heck down. He's looking a lot better now, like we all know he is.
Yeah.
So no, you guys have a chance as long as Russell's healthy. The only thing, if you guys were at 6 and 7, I would honestly put you guys as odds-on favorites to get that spot. It's just
that's the thing. Like, there's a chance we finish 7 and 10, or there's a chance we finish 8 and 9. Most likely, there's a lesser chance of 8 and 9. Which either way, we'd be getting in. If we did, we'd be getting into the playoffs with probably a losing record.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna pick the Vikings right now to get that spot. I just think when their offense is clicking, like they did the first half against the Steelers, it's kind of like their coach said. He said in the post-game interviews, like, I feel like that first half team could beat anyone in the league, and I feel like the second half team could lose to anyone in the league, which is really, really true. Because when Dalvin Cook was cooking and Justin Jefferson was making plays, and they don't even have Thielen healthy. When you add Thielen in the red zone, their offense is really hard to stop. And like we've said every week, Kirk Cousins is actually playing really, really, really good football this year. So that's who I'm going to pick right now.
Agree.
Yeah.
Tell you what, though, there is one team that probably has their playoff spot locked in more than anyone else, and that will be Dallas.
Yeah, a lot would have to happen for them to lose it. Yeah, man, finally, Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, all healthy, all playing on the same field. Freaking dangerous. You get the defense is everything that they need it to be right now. Offense, though, I don't know what is going on with the offense. I understand a little bit why they didn't run it as much as they should have in the fourth quarter to run clock, just because Zeke's hurt, Pollard was out, and their third string is, not super reliable. So the Cowboys could be a dangerous playoff team, or they could lose in the first round. I would not be surprised if any of that results. So,
I'm going to go ahead and say I've gone from speculating to theorizing to now fully believing, and actually somewhat upset your Cowboys for not just sitting Ezekiel Elliott these weeks, because the man is not healthy, dude. When he's out there, he's not running like Ezekiel Elliott. But if they could let him just get fully healthy, maybe in time for the playoffs. I mean, if I were them, when you have Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard, man, when he's running the ball, he looks
amazing.
Eye test, he looks so much better than Zeke right now. They need to just give him the rock, let him be the guy, and get ready for the postseason, in my opinion.
Well, I would agree with you if he wasn't out this past week. So,
right,
like, we don't want him to get hurt, and then Zeke never actually fully recover, and we're just limping on two backs. So,
is Pollard is he gonna be back this coming week? You think?
I think
What was his deal?
I think he's still inactive.
But yeah, so I don't know, because the Cowboys can't win without a running game. We've seen it. Like Cowboys offense, they are 7-0 when they run for just over 50 yards, or maybe now 8-0. I'm not sure how much. If they got to, I think they got to 50 yards this week, but undefeated when they run even just over 50 yards. They not
a very high bar.
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude,
like,
I would just get my 50 yards in the first quarter and then be like, all right, we're gonna
win. They just need a seed of a running game for the offense to work, and we see that, with Buffalo too. Like, if they can just have a running game, Dak can manage the game. The passing game works a lot better if the Cowboys can just run the ball. So that just remains to be seen. So
yeah.
Zeke needs to get healthy. It's just that the Cowboys don't have much. If Pollard doesn't come back, like, they could lose the rest of their games because the offense just isn't good enough. And that's the thing. They're talented enough. But whatever play call is going on, it just feels like a little bit too routine sometimes when they're playing. Like, they were just out there in the third quarter up 24-0, and they're just like, let's just run some basic pass plays, and let's just pretend we're at practice at this point. And I think even Greg Olsen said that, like, it just looks like they're just, getting some reps in there. And, like, they can be so lackadaisical sometimes and just like, we're just going to just run our offense and we don't really care. We're just going to just call plays that we think look kind of cool and we'll just keep going. And that bugs the friggin' crap out of me. So if they play like that, then yeah, there's no chance in the playoffs for them to have any success. But, if they, think about what they're doing, think about down and distance, think about time management, just give those just like a second thought, then, the Cowboys could go far in the playoffs. And as long as Zeke and Pollard are healthy. But if not, the Cowboys offense, Dak's improved a lot, but he's still who I've always thought he was, and Dak definitely was the weak spot of the team on Sunday. So
he's been kind of been the weak spot of the team a few times this year.
Yeah, he has.
Even more recently too. Where
and people say the calf injury, like they put up the statistics of like what it looks like before and after the calf injury, and I think that's part of it. He doesn't look the same running the ball, and he goes down a lot faster. Like, he'll take the slide a lot faster than he used to. If he sees a guy and he's still got a yard, he could pick up that other yard, he'll go down sooner. And yeah, he has not looked the same. I think it's part the leg, partly they live off the play action. But if the play action, no one believes that Zeke can run farther than 3 yards, then it doesn't fool anybody. And so all that talent on the perimeter just kind of goes to waste.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it's like, I don't know who said, it's pretty much foregone conclusion just based on numbers that you guys are going to make it. It's all about getting ready for the playoffs. The only team I think that has their division more on a lock would be, well, I guess both the Packers and the Buccaneers, really. I mean, a 4-team advantage over second place. Those are some over and done with divisions. I'd say especially the Buccaneers. I mean, none of their competition, the Falcons, Saints, or Panthers, looks like they got a whole lot of life in them, to me. Not a whole lot of fight.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny that Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady both got to play the teams that they absolutely own this weekend? I heard the stat. So Aaron Rodgers' record, his individual record against the Bears is it's like 25-4 or something like that. And then Tom Brady's is 33-3 against the Bills. So those were two pretty predictable outcomes, even though one of the games went in time and stuff.
Although this week it was the Patriots against the Bills, I think, in those week before that. Or am I the one getting confused?
You're confused.
You're getting confused. Bucks played the Bills on Sunday.
No, you're right. The Patriots Bills was where we ran the ball the whole time. Yeah. See, I'm the one who can't keep them straight, man.
I watched a lot of the Patriots Bills game. And here's the deal.
Wait, do you mean Patriots?
Are you talking Patriots Bills or Buccaneers Bills?
Sorry.
I kind of
you confused me,
dude.
I watched the Buccaneers Bills game, a lot of it. I'm telling you, man, watching Tom Brady play is just slightly, but it's slightly unlike watching any other quarterback play. Because you just know that guy knows how to win games. And when he's comfortable, which he is with his offense and how stacked they are, when he's comfortable, dude, he looks like he's playing like as a pro NFL player in some backyard league.
Yeah.
Like it's his ability to read plays. Did you see him? Well, I don't know if you guys watched the game.
Watched a lot of it, yeah.
He had 7 rushes in that game. And a few of them were just for a few yards, but a few others were like for 10, 12, 13 yards.
Yeah. It's a couple weeks in a row he's had, I think, 10+ yard rushes. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. He's just, and dude, that's the one thing is like when he does rush, that guy is slow. Like it is unnatural. It's like painful to watch, but he just reads, okay, for as slow as I am, I still think I can get the first down here. And he does. Dude, I don't know what I'm trying to say really, other than like when you watch that guy play, you're watching someone that is the expert in their craft. But then,
let me see if I can. No,
okay.
Go ahead. Go, Thomas.
No. You go, because I was gonna go on to.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say one stat that can just encapsulate what you're saying. That maybe you guys have seen it too. Since he's gotten to Tampa Bay, in the red zone, Tom Brady has thrown 60 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
That's crazy.
60 touchdowns and not a single interception in the red zone. that blew my mind that's just crazy.
Dude, the fact that he's thrown 60 touchdowns.
Yeah. In 2 seasons. Not even 2 seasons.
Not even 2 full seasons is insane.
Yeah.
That's insane. And that's just red zone touchdowns. And that just goes to show you how often he scores in the red zone, how methodical, he is going down the field, that these aren't big plays that he's scoring on. 60 touchdowns in the red zone. That's an insane stat.
It is.
Yeah.
But I will mention this also. Josh Allen, for having not even a quarter of the years in the NFL that Tom Brady has, even in Sunday night's game, Josh Allen is honestly just a young, extremely athletic Tom Brady. In the sense that, I think I've said it before, but Tom is so good at placing the ball exactly where it should be. He's good at placing it away from the receiver or over the defender, away from the defender, over the defender, or on the line, but Josh Allen, I think he's got a stronger arm than Tom Brady for sure, but his accuracy and his ability to place the ball where it needs to be and stuff like that is on par. And then when you add in the athleticism, I'm not saying Josh Allen's the next Tom Brady or he's going to be better, but Josh Allen's a really good quarterback too.
He definitely is, but the Bills have shown vulnerabilities this year, and if it's hard to pinpoint what it is, but since they just played the Buccaneers, and you can kind of make comparisons, both, like you said, Tom Brady and Josh Allen are both great quarterbacks. Both of them have really good defenses too. If I had to look at a group and point to a difference between the two, I'm going to say it's skill position players on offense, to be honest. Right now, Tom Brady's surrounded by Leonard Fournette, who's playing really, really good.
Yes.
Best he's ever played, definitely, especially since Jacksonville. And then Chris Godwin. We know Mike Evans. They don't even have AB. They have Gronk playing great. I'm starting to kind of think that Josh Allen, he doesn't have as much talent around him as maybe we thought last year. But really, the only name everyone threw around was Stephon Diggs. But until Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs were on the same team, nobody talked about Stephon Diggs as a top of the league type wide receiver. He was second fiddle to Adam Thielen on the Vikings. Adam Thielen was the top wideout there.
I think for a majority of years, I think Stephon Diggs last year in Minnesota, he had a really good season. That's when his name really started to get out there. He's a top receiver and stuff. Yeah, I think more so in Buffalo for sure. But
I never would have put his name in the top 10 before last year. But what I'm saying is, I think the more I'm watching the season unfold, the more I'm thinking that had more to do with Josh Allen than Stephon Diggs, perhaps. And they don't have a solidified running back. They don't have that established of a wide receiver, too. They had Emmanuel Sanders early on, but he's a bit old and he's been injured, and they don't have a clear-cut guy there. So, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I think Josh Allen has to shoulder a lot of the offense by himself. He has to win these games, and there's not that many playmakers that are going to make him look a lot better, like Tom Brady might have. As good as Tom Brady is, the players he's throwing to make him look even better. Some of the touchdowns I've seen Mike Evans catch this year have just been unbelievable, man. What that guy does in the red zone, too. But that's kind of, I guess, a long way of saying I think the Bills surrounding pieces might be holding them back and might even cost them a playoff berth at this point. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he doesn't have the greatest wide receiver core in the league. The real problem is what you mentioned, I don't think has been touched on enough, is just Josh Allen's the running game. And you can't do that. Like, you know how many times in that game in the fourth quarter, Josh Allen, like, it was like almost every time, roll to the left, have the outlet guy, he just like motions him to go deep, and he'll run, and then as he rushes the line of scrimmage, he'll pump fake, and then he runs to the first down on the sideline. That was pretty much like every drive that they scored as their comeback. That was pretty much all that was happening. Josh Allen, roll the left, pumps fakes to the outlet guy, and then just freezes the defense just for enough time to get to the first down. And that was pretty much their running game. And yeah, Josh Allen was their leading rusher the first half. That's the real problem. Like, the defense, for you to have success on offense, is the defense has to play honest. Like, if the defense only has to play one aspect of defense, then it just makes it really easy for them. And that's really the Bills' problem. Weapons, I think they're fine. Stephon Diggs, yeah, maybe he's not top 10, but he's definitely a number one. Cole Beasley's a good slot guy. Yeah. They got, what's his name, Knox or whatever.
Yeah, Dawson Knox.
Dawson Knox. He's pretty good. He's a good tight end. It's just they don't have a running game at all. And yeah, it's impressive what Josh Allen's doing with a lack of a running game. But yeah, that's the real problem with Buffalo.
Can you imagine if they did, for how well they have done as an offense with zero running game like whatsoever? Just Josh Allen and his receivers and his personal running game. If they had a good running game, it would be a completely different story.
And same thing for Lamar Jackson, too. I'd say probably the two best mobile quarterbacks in the league right now. Neither of them, well, no, I'd say there's a third, Kyler Murray. And to see the comparison, you see what they do with James Conner, who's playing really well because he can, like, almost walk in the end zone when they're down there because they don't know if Kyler's going to run it in himself, throw it, hand it off. So I don't know why these other teams, well, the Ravens, they got hurt in the running back room. They tried.
And they signed a lot of guys.
Yeah, they tried. I think they had the idea. It seems to me that the Bills aren't even trying, though. They've been sitting with Singletary and whatever his name, Moss or whoever.
And they're clearly not the answer. Clearly not.
So they really, I think, that's what I think they should prioritize this offseason. But yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Bills. But yeah, they're 2 wins beneath the Patriots now. So it's starting to look like the Patriots might actually have this division shut down almost.
Who does? The Patriots?
I was saying the Patriots with 2 wins on the Bills.
2 wins.
Yeah, if they were to win. Yeah, the next time they play, which is in 2 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah. That'll decide.
That's pretty much the deal, yeah. Yeah.
And then
that'll play right into their hands. If the Bills their offense still looks the same as it does when they go to Foxborough, it's game over. Patriots will definitely win no matter.
Yeah. I want to watch that one. I want to see that rematch when the wind isn't whipping at 50 miles per hour. See how it goes down.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm actually really excited for Thursday Night Football. I think Chiefs-Chargers will be a good game. Because we've got to remember the Chiefs are coming off a huge win. And it really looks like all those doubts and all the trash that was spoken of them earlier this season has been laid to rest. They're back to being the Chiefs as of late. And one thing that's interesting, though, is I feel like a lot less of it is leaning on Patrick Mahomes and his play. Like, yeah, he had a good game this week, but I mean, other than that, he's still not the Patrick Mahomes we've seen in the past. But the rest of the team has really uplifted themselves, and I mean, they destroyed.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. If you can kind of remember back, though, it was the Chargers beating the Chiefs, which I feel like started that skid for the Chiefs. Like, it was that loss that was kind of a shocker, and then they kind of started to lose games.
Yeah.
So this is
right. That's where it is in everyone's mind, but that's not actually true. But
well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, obviously, like, the L's are true. Like, they took L's, but the Chiefs' offense looked the same as it always had when they played the Chargers and when they played the Ravens. So, people started freaking out because the Chiefs were losing, but the offense didn't start looking like trash until they played the Bills.
Yeah, it was at that point. It was their defense was looking garbage, but like Thomas said, the defense has really turned around.
Yeah,
and now it's pretty good.
That's all the Chiefs need is a serviceable defense, and the offense is potent enough to make it work. So, yeah,
agree.
Just remember, I didn't give up on the Chiefs.
Oh man! All right, I think we talked through most of these games pretty good. Do you guys have you given any thought to who your early Super Bowl matchup predictions are?
We have already made a prediction, or
Or
this is our first one?
I mean, I was asking if you had thought about it, but whether you've thought about it or not, I can just make you guys think about it now and come up with one if you like.
Oh man, I have a lot of corny answers.
Corny answers.
But they're likely. 'Cause I think these matchups are likely but stupid. Like, they would bore the shiz out of me. And I know I'm in the minority thinking that way. But Bucks Patriots, I think, would be stupid matchup. I'd be like, Bill versus Tom. Like, I don't think the league's rigged, but they're obviously good enough to make the Super Bowl. But I'd be like, come on, that storyline. I'm kind of like feeling like Thomas was when we brought up the Bill versus Tom thing. I'm like, I don't know. I'd just be like, cool. Like, that's kind of it's. I feel like it's a very corny Super Bowl matchup.
I see what you mean by corny.
Yeah.
In that.
I think the least corny thing about it would just be the fact that Mac Jones, rookie quarterback, made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, that's a cool story, but also not to the credit of himself very much.
Well, you already know what they're going to be saying, like the new Tom Brady versus Tom Brady.
They're already saying that. And, I think it'd be cool. I can't believe I'm saying this. It'd be cool if the Patriots won the Super Bowl with Mac Jones.
Really?
I do really think so. I think it, like, if it was any other franchise, it'd be cooler, but I still think it's cool if that were to happen. And it wouldn't make me think any less of Tom Brady, because Tom Brady, I don't know if Mac Jones is going to win 6 Super Bowls with the Patriots, but, it wouldn't make me lose any respect for Tom Brady. I just think it'd be like my admiration for Bill Belichick and his style, which I've always respected, which I think, Matt has, always matched my football philosophy, which is run the ball and have good defense. And because, I'm getting tired of this, only the quarterbacks matter business, because that just kind of, I don't know, for me, kind of takes away from the cool team aspect of football. So, if anything to tamper that down, I think would be good to give value to other positions that get enough respect.
Well, I'll tell you what. If it was Buccaneers Patriots, I would actually. What I'd be hoping for is the Buccaneers just destroy the
Me too,
Patriots.
dude.
Because
Me
it's
too.
all just like, the new Tom Brady. Will he follow the same path and get that miracle win? Like, no, he's destroyed.
Yeah.
He never gets his confidence back ever again. And Tom Brady's like, I'm the only freaking Tom Brady.
That would be a relief for the league. It'd be, because it's like Tom Brady has to retire at some point, and we can all go back to having a fair shot of winning Super Bowls. But I could see that either way. That's another reason why it was boring, because I'm like, I don't even know who I'd want to root for. It'd be cool if Tom won 8 and was 2 ahead of every NFL franchise in Super Bowls, and then there's a rookie quarterback winning the Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, dude. Like, that's why I'm like that. It's a likely matchup, but I think it's so stupid. The storylines would drive me up the wall.
If Tom Brady does get 2, and at this point you could get, I'm sorry, and by 2 I mean, that'd be number 8, so 2 more than the next franchise. Do we realize that it's going to be probably decades before a team matches his ring total? I would assume, unless the Patriots start dynasty number 2 really soon.
Yeah, it would have to be the Patriots or the Steelers to win 2 in 10 years for it to be less than a decade. And, it's possible. How fast Bill Belichick has bounced back after losing Tom Brady, the Patriots are more likely, unless Aaron Rodgers decides to go to Pittsburgh, and then, that could happen too. Or the Pittsburgh finds someone to replace Ben, and the receiver core matures and becomes grown men and not little boys. Then it's possible. But yeah, if he got 2 ahead, it'd be a long time.
And caught up. And it's almost a certainty, I think, that we'll never see another single player pass him in our lifetime. Like,
yeah.
I think,
in our lifetime, definitely. I think it's going to be like, that's a record that could last centuries, man.
The NFL may no longer exist in time for someone to get more rings than Tom Brady.
That's a long friggin' time.
He is putting his legacy in cement. But all right, so look, is that what your prediction is? I know you're kind of floating some possibilities, but
I don't have a solid prediction. I was just telling you my least favorite matchups that could happen. The other would be Bucks Chiefs. I'm like, a repeat of last year's Super Bowl, boring. Packers Chiefs, I also think would be boring.
Packers Chiefs would be boring. That's the one I'm like, look, I don't want to see the Chiefs in it again. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but hard to say that. I mean, I'd hope
I think the game would be entertaining. The teams like Aaron Rodgers versus Patrick Mahomes, I think, is another corny matchup that people really want to see and have been begging for since Patrick Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns 3 years ago. But, I don't know. I'd rather not see it. I'd be like, I kind of liked that we've never seen Brady and Rodgers play in the Super Bowl. Like, the NFC Championship game was enough for me. I think it was cool that they actually never met in the Super Bowl when he was in the AFC. Mm-hmm. Like, even though people are like, "Do we need Rodgers Brady because Aaron Rodgers most talented, Brady most accomplished, head to head, blah blah blah." And I'm like, it's kind of cool that they actually never did meet.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I like it. Well, look, as far as prediction, it saddens me, but if I'm going to be honest, I feel more confident in this prediction than I felt about a Super Bowl prediction this early in the regular season in a long time. But I think we're destined for a rematch of Chiefs-Buccaneers. I actually think it's like every passing week becoming more and more obvious that that's what's going to happen. The Chiefs are getting hot at the right time. And if you look at who they're playing in the AFC, they don't really have much what I consider to be serious playoff competition. Like any given Sunday, their competition, But in the playoffs, I don't think Mac Jones is going to get there in his rookie season. I really don't.
Yeah.
As good as they are, the Ravens, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Just Bills, definitely not Titans. I just think they're gonna. I think they could honestly coast to the playoffs. And the Buccaneers, they just look too good. The Packers are gonna blow it. I think everyone knows that. Okay, like the Cardinals too. They're another team that they just don't. They're not. I don't think they're December. I'm not December. I mean January. A January team. I think it's going to be a rough playoffs for them. They might get to the championship potentially, but for me, I'm seeing it clear as day, and I hate it. But I feel like we're head towards Buccaneers Chiefs.
Yeah, see that? Yeah, that was also one I don't want to see, and I believe that you are probably right. Yeah,
Suck, man. What I want is Cowboys, Chargers.
I'd love that Super Bowl.
That would be a fun Super Bowl.
All right, can I make my prediction now?
Yeah,
You've just been waiting there patiently.
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just dragging on about complaining. Go ahead.
I'm gonna reiterate on things you've said, but here are my own ideas. Packers choke an NFC championship, as is tradition. I think it'll be Buccaneers. I think it'll be Buccaneers Chiefs. I really do think you guys are pretty spot on that. It's not what I want, but I think it's very, very likely. The thing for me about the Patriots is, yes, they're the number one seed. They look pretty dominant. But when you think about the playoffs, and especially for like Mac Jones as a rookie, that means you have to win multiple weeks in a row against guaranteed, proven good teams. I can see when, I can see a rookie or a team performing well when in a regular season when they've got, oh, these two games are pretty easy for us. This one will be a little bit harder. Then we've got some easy games afterwards and stuff. Yeah, like that happens. You can win those games. But when it's like, all right, I mean, I guess if they got in first seed, they have a bye, which helps. But then still, you have to win 3 games in order to be the Super Bowl champions. And they're going to be against like the best teams in the league. And I just don't think a rookie, whether he's used a ton or a little, reliance on his actual quarterback play or not, I don't think he can do it. And the number 2 seed is the Titans. They're not going to be the number 2 seed for a long time. I think the Chiefs will overtake that. And I just think it's a clear Chiefs Buccaneers. But I really want to tell you what I'd like to see. Okay. And I know it's far-fetched, but hear me out, right? I think the Rams, the last month for the Rams has been a little rocky. But in the end, they are a star-studded team, and they have tons of experience in the playoffs. Besides probably the Buccaneers, they're the most experienced playoff team in the NFC that will most likely make it to the playoffs. And I think they're a team that any given game, they have great chances to win because of the players on the roster, but almost more importantly, the coaching staff. But out of the AFC, I'm just looking like Bills are kind of dropping off a little bit. Titans are guaranteed to drop off. Ravens, I've already told you how I think the Ravens do in the playoffs. Chargers, it's possible. Same thing though, young players. But what I'd like to see is the Colts. I really like the idea of the story of like, nah, dude, this is Carson Wentz's true first Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, this is Carson Wentz's first start in the Super Bowl. Jonathan Taylor being healthy, it'll be this huge running game against a huge star-studded offense that doesn't rely on a running game. We'd have Aaron Donald in the Super Bowl. I mean, I think the Rams would win that Super Bowl, but I like the story of the Rams, a star-studded team, against the Colts, underdogs, / Carson Wentz's true Super Bowl. I
think that'd be good too.
I think that'd be cool.
It'd be fun.
I think it would be. I'd like to see the Rams lose it and just Sean McVay be known as the Super Bowl choke artist. That would be. I like that for a matchup for sure.
So I'm looking at it on the NFC side, and the way it's like, even if it stays the way it is right now, the Cowboys and the Rams would play, and I think the Rams win that game. And obviously, whoever the 2 seed is, whether it be the Packers or the Bucks, will beat whoever's the 7th seed. And then it's the Cardinals and the 49ers. And I think the 49ers, they lost to Cardinals, swept them, right? I'm pretty sure already. Or have they played? I know the Cardinals beat them once. At least once. I think they might have beaten them twice already.
Let me look. They beat San Francisco. Yeah, they've swept.
Yeah. What was the scores on that one again?
Let's see. In week 5, it was 17-10, and then week 9 was 31-7. So yeah, they've kind of beat.
Yeah, they've beaten them down. So I was gonna say, I kind of like the 49ers to upset the Cardinals if they were to play in the first round of the playoffs. Because it's hard to beat a team 3 times, one. And I think, like you're saying, Cardinals aren't built for January where the 49ers are.
49ers absolutely are. If they can get in, they're built for it.
Given that they're built for it, minus a quarterback that can come up clutch in the second half.
Yeah. Right.
Their defense is really built for it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. If they can stay healthy, the defense especially. So that would lead, then if the Buccaneers were at the 2, well, that would leave, the 49ers would then play the Packers if they stay at the 1 seed. And, the 49ers have had Green Bay's number, and it was a close game this past week. I wouldn't count the 49ers out if they were to make the playoffs to make a run. Is basically the bottom line of what I'm trying to say. Is that I think they can make it as far as the NFC Championship game if they stay healthy.
I definitely think they can, and the only reason they don't is Jimmy G.
Right.
Jimmy G sucks.
I'll tell you what. I really, even though we've all agreed that it's foregone conclusion that this can't happen, I actually would like to see the Packers overcome their demons and get to the Super Bowl this year, personally.
Yeah. That would make it interesting. I mean, if that happens, do you think Aaron Rodgers still leaves?
No. In fact, I've already pretty much accepted that I don't think he's going to leave. I think the antics he pulled had put him in a position, that organization, where he can now, they dare not piss him off anymore.
And honestly, as pissed off as you are, it's hard to leave a team that, could potentially finish with the record they have, could potentially make it deep into the playoffs, and then you're just going to leave to a team that's clearly going to be worse.
Yeah. No. pretty sure he stays. We'll see, but I think he's going to stay. I think he'll keep making deals like he has now every year to keep the power in his hands year after year. And then once his play starts to slip at all, then they might move. But
hypothetically, though, and this is kind of going off on a tangent, you know, of course, the rumors that he would go to the Steelers are pretty strong, but that's pretty much just based on the fact that Ben's old and Aaron made eye contact with Mike Tomlin.
it really is based off of that and nothing else. But people have acted like it's a surety.
Yeah.
I think it'd be stupid if he left.
I don't think he does, but I think one place that I bet would be on the top of his list, if he ever made a list of teams he'd be willing to go to, I bet San Francisco would honestly be pretty high up there. Just because that's where he's from, where he went to school.
Maybe.
And that's a team where that's all they need is a good quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and he can make it just as far in the playoffs. Got just as many good players. The only thing is, like, would the 49ers be able to afford him? Yeah, they're not paying anyone a ton of money.
I don't think there's any team in this league that wouldn't make the monetary moves necessary, salary cap moves to clear space.
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would sign with the Niners just based off of that they picked Alex Smith over him.
But that's what I was kind of getting at. Just like, no, you had your chance.
Yeah, I like Aaron Rodgers is that petty after all these years.
He is pretty petty. You know, part of me's like, no way, but then it's like, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
he might have done it this past offseason because he was that pissed at the Packers, but I think with those wounds healing up, it's he's more mad at the 49ers still.
Yeah. I think you're right, Parker. He'd be dumb to leave. I mean, obviously the Packers have enough to get him to the 1 seed, like pretty much every year, the 1 or 2 seed. So, like, and to get the NFC Championship game, it's not, it can't be all of a sudden like my weapons and personnel and coaching staff, are only good enough to get me the NFC Championship game. Like, it's impossible them to be like good enough to win one more game to get to the Super Bowl. Like, that's a really dumb way of thinking. Like, if they're good enough to get to the championship game, I don't know, and you can win all these games, it's not that.
I know. And I mean, if you look at what he said, talking about like the character of people and how that's what was disappointing him with the front office, like, if that's what you're worried about, you want to go from Devontae Adams to Juju's TikTok antics and Chase Claypool's clown show of a wide receiver.
Talk about, the character of people.
No joke. That would be that alone. I would be like, I'm not touching friggin' Pittsburgh with a 20-foot pole, man.
The Pittsburgh wide receiver room is a clown factory, man. Like, AB, Juju, Chase, like, they just keep turning him out.
Dude, I love how, we were all about to forgive AB. He's like, maybe he was right after all. And he goes and forges his. So you're like, all right, we were right all along, AB. Just kidding. You are of the Pittsburgh breed.
If we're gonna talk about that real quick, I just think it's hilarious that, like, the allegations came out and they're like, his lawyer or agent came out and said AB is completely immunized and he'd even be willing to take a booster on live TV. Dude, when I heard that, I was like, no, he totally isn't. That's like, you only say stuff like that. Like, you want me to take a booster live on air? I'll do that. Like, nah, you're for sure lying. And then it comes out he was lying. It's a complete bluff, man. That's so funny.
Dude, the other thing is, like, do you think anyone actually cares to watch you take a freaking booster on live television? Maybe, like, I think you're a bigger deal. Like, you think you were a bigger deal than you actually are.
Dude, when it happened, I was expecting or not expecting, but I thought there was a good chance I was going to get another notification saying that the Buccaneers had released Antonio Brown because not only did when they signed him, we had Bruce Arians hesitant to do it, and he said he's on a short leash, but the Buccaneers were the first team to come out and say they're 100% vaccinated. He lied to the team, and obviously something like this gets not just the NFL world, but the outside world criticizing you. And I'm not sure it's not, they still might, even when he comes back from the suspension, not just be like, nah.
Dude, the best part about this is Aaron Rodgers is over there just like, thanks, AB. Thanks for taking all the heat. Everyone's going to completely forget about me.
I know. They kind of haven't, though, actually. People are still more mad at Aaron. I don't know. At least it seems that way to me. But
well, at least Aaron
gets into the weeds about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's whatever on that. But speaking of people that are mad and are mad at people, Urban Meyer.
Oh yes, I was hoping we talked about this.
Dude, what in the heck? Dude, that guy is like mentally ill.
No joke. He's like, I feel like Britney Spears all of a sudden became a head coach in the NFL. Like, that guy has nothing but drama. Like, he's toxic, man. Like, it's all self-inflicted. Like, what, Urban? Did you think you were gonna like all of a sudden take the Jaguars to the Super Bowl? Like, are you surprised by this frustration? Did you really think you were gonna have a good season? Like, no one expects you to have a good season. So stop being so pissed off and then stop grinding on a bunch of college age chicks. Like, dude, and here's the deal. Like, all this stuff has come out like this week, but we know it's been going on all season. There have been small rumors here and there that he doesn't get along with players and coaches. And now it's like confirmed. Yes, he doesn't get along with players and coaches. But I just read a statement from the owner of the Jags that was basically like, like, it's a tough situation, but in the end, I'm going to do what's best for the team and for the city come off season. And so he didn't say like, I'm firing him. Maybe he's saying it's better for the team and the city to keep him. But at this point, no head coach should be toxic to their team and staff. Like,
yeah,
I think he's gone. I think he's gone, and I don't think he gets a coaching job in the NFL ever again, and possibly not in college for a year or two.
Well, the sad thing is, his style of coaching would actually, if he went back to college coaching, he'd probably do just fine. Because you can do what he's doing in college. He's running it like it is college, which he's really finding out it's not at all. But yeah, the Jaguars would be really, really unbelievably stupid to not fire him, because it's not just the losses. I mean, you look at Detroit, and they're even worse, but no one's talking about the coach over the Lions losing it.
They love him over there.
Yeah, everyone loves him.
They play hard for him after games. No one's throwing anyone else under the bus. They went in. That's a team that wins the season. I think they had no, like, of course they shoot for the stars and they expect they want to achieve greatness. But I think they realized this is a team in rebuild. They weren't. That wasn't a shocker to them, and they're playing for that, and they're playing as hard as they can. So just seeing the juxtaposition of like the Jaguars, where they're losing, they've won, I think, one more game than the Lions have, and it's a complete garbage fire. Like, people are coming out, players apparently are storming out, coaches are leaking things to the media. Like, it's unbelievable. And then Detroit is, they get a win and they act like they won the Super Bowl and everyone's gelling. So yeah. You got to get rid of I don't know why the Jaguars head coach. You just got to get rid of Urban Meyer. It's just a complete.
I honestly, at this point, have so much pity for Jacksonville and the Jags organization. Like, dude, they've been shafted for a long time. And, going into the season, a lot of people are like, it's finally over. And it's worse than it's ever been. Like, way worse than it's ever been.
Yeah, well, it's sad, but the Jaguars, like we've said in weeks past, in the end, when you see year after year of trends, it comes down to ownership and the decisions that they make. The owner decided to hire Urban Meyer and everything else that's gone on.
I was about to say that because this isn't even the first time this has happened. This is the worst it's happened, but players and coaches were met at Tom Coughlin when he was the president of personnel or whatever he was. I don't remember, but yeah, and then everyone like Jalen Ramsey and Leonard Fournette and everyone complaining and whining to get out of Jacksonville just because it was just such a toxic environment over there, man. It's like if Florida Man was a football franchise, that's Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's the truth. Yeah, I agree. Real quick, I just wanted to acknowledge on here, just because it was a cool part of the Broncos game. I'm not going to dwell on this for a long time, but we're a football show and I'm a Broncos fan, so it was super sad to hear that Demaryius Thomas passed last week. I was honestly more affected when I heard than I thought I was going to be. Obviously not having any personal relationship with person, but having seen him play football and I read, I've learned a lot about him when he was active, and it was pretty cool. I actually, real quick, I told Thomas about this, but let's see. Right here, one thing I have, and I went and got this thing out right when I heard the news. I was like, oh my gosh, is I got a ball signed by DT here.
What?
Yeah, my younger brother, he met Demaryius he was at a bowling alley nearby where we lived, and Demaryius, he was known actually for going out and doing community things and stuff like that. So my brother got to meet Demaryius Thomas, get a ball signed by him, and he gave this as a gift to me for when I got married. Actually,
I'm confused though. Like, why did your brother have a ball at a bowling alley, or did he know he was going to be there?
I'm not 100%. I think he told me, but I've forgotten what the circumstances were. I think it was it wasn't just he ran into Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas was there meeting people as kind of an event. There's lots of people going up and taking pictures, getting things signed. But yeah, no, it's just really sad. But it was really cool at the game against the Lions. The Broncos, they started the first play with only 10 players on the field, and they had the X position open, and they just took a delay of game, and the Lions denied the penalty and all that. And it was really cool to see. But yeah, I just wanted to say rest in peace, Demaryius, and of course, wish the best for DT's family.
I think that's a great way to end the podcast this week.
Yeah.
Everyone that's made it this far, thanks for being here. Thanks for enjoying us talking about football. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like, comment. If anyone comments, we'll answer it. We'll answer it.
You just gotta do it.
Just gotta do it.
Once it happens, we'll do it.
Subscribe so you can get notified next time we go live or upload something. Have a good week.
Later.